When my boyfriend's father called me street garbage in front of everyone at dinner, I just sat there frozen, clutching my fork so tightly that my knuckles turned white. Everyone laughed like it was some kind of joke, except me. I could feel my face burning, not just from humiliation, but from rage. That night, I smiled, acted polite, and pretended to let it go. But inside, I promised myself one thing: I'd make him regret ever saying those words. And when I later cancelled his anniversary trip, the one I personally planned and paid for, I did it with the calmest smile I've ever worn. Now I just keep wondering, was I wrong for doing that? Or was it the only way to remind him that I wasn't someone he could walk all over? You tell me. I'll start from the beginning. My name's Layla, I'm 27, and I've been dating Adam for almost 3 years. We met in college. He was kind, grounded, and made me laugh like nobody else. He came from a wealthy family, the kind that took ski trips every winter and had a different car for every mood. I, on the other hand, grew up with a single mom who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. We never had much, but my mom taught me something more valuable than money: self-respect. When Adam and I started dating, his family was polite but distant. I could feel their judgment, especially from his father, Robert. He was a tall, intimidating man, always in a suit even on weekends, and he had this way of looking at me that made me feel like I was being measured, and found lacking. At first, I brushed it off. I thought maybe he was just protective of his son. But then the little comments started. He'd say things like, "You know, Adam's always had a taste for adventure. Maybe that's why he's with you," with that smug smirk that made my stomach twist. Or he'd make remarks about my humble roots, always with that fake laugh that everyone else awkwardly joined in on. Adam usually defended me, but sometimes I could tell even he felt uncomfortable standing up to his father. I didn't want to cause drama, so I'd just bite my tongue and tell myself to be patient. Then came the dinner. It was supposed to be a celebration. Robert and his wife, Helen, were marking their 35th wedding anniversary, and I had helped Adam plan a special surprise trip for them to Santorini. I'd done all the work: booking flights, coordinating the villa, arranging a private dinner on the cliffs, everything. It was my way of showing gratitude, of trying to build a bridge. That night, the family gathered at this high-end restaurant. Everyone was dressed to the nines. I was nervous, but I'd chosen the best outfit and even splurged on a new pair of heels just to look the part. Dinner started off okay, a little stiff, but manageable. Helen was kind, as usual, asking about my work and complimenting my dress. Adam held my hand under the table, giving me those little reassuring squeezes that made me feel safe. Then the waiter poured the wine, and Robert started one of his storytelling sessions, the kind that were really just humble brags about his career, his success, and his family's standards. At some point, he looked right at me and said, "You know, Adam, I always pictured you with someone, well, let's just say, from our world." He chuckled, swirling his glass. I tried to smile, but I could feel my stomach drop. Adam immediately said, "Dad, that's not fair." But Robert just kept going. No, I'm just saying, it's interesting. You grew up surrounded by certain expectations. And now here you are, bringing home someone who, well," he paused, smirking, then added, "I guess love really is blind. Or charitable." The table went quiet. Even Helen looked shocked. I could feel tears welling up, but I refused to let them fall. I forced a smile and said softly, "That's a very interesting perspective, Mr. Bennett." He laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Oh come on, don't take it personally. I'm just teasing. You've got to have a thicker skin if you're going to be in this family, sweetheart. We don't do delicate." Then, just before taking another sip of wine, he muttered under his breath, "Street garbage trying to play house." That did it. I froze. My hands trembled under the table, but I stayed quiet. Adam's face turned red, and he stood up, slamming his napkin down. "That's enough, Dad." The restaurant went silent for a moment. Robert just shrugged, like he'd done nothing wrong, and said, "Sit down, son. Don't embarrass yourself." I excused myself and went to the restroom. I locked myself in a stall and cried quietly, wiping my mascara before going back out. When I returned, I acted normal. Smiled, ate my dessert, pretended nothing happened. That night, when Adam dropped me home, he apologized over and over. He was furious with his father, said he'd never talk to him like that again. I believed him, but I also knew I had to take matters into my own hands. I wasn't going to explode or yell or make a scene. No, I wanted him to feel small the way he made me feel. A few days later, I got a text from Helen, thanking me for organizing their anniversary trip. She said Robert was so impressed with the arrangements and couldn't wait to show off the photos to his business friends. That's when it hit me. He was about to enjoy a luxury vacation that I had planned, I had booked, and I had made possible. Suddenly, my hurt turned into focus. I wasn't going to let him have that satisfaction. So, I quietly made some changes. The villa, cancelled. Flights, refunded. The private dinner reservation, gone. I used my name for all the bookings, so everything came directly through me. I called the travel agency and explained the situation. I told them the couple had a change of plans. They issued refunds to my account within 2 days. Then, I sent a short message to Helen saying, "Hey, just a heads up, there was a mix-up with the bookings. I'll fix it soon." She thanked me and didn't ask questions. I waited. The following week, Robert called me for the first time in months. His voice was tight with frustration. "Layla, I just got off the phone with the airline. Apparently, our reservations are gone." "What the hell happened?" I pretended to sound confused. "Oh no, that's strange. Let me check on it and get back to you." He huffed, muttering something about incompetent people, then hung up. I smiled. The next day, I texted him again. "So sorry, Mr. Bennett. It looks like there was an issue with the payment authorization. The travel company said they'll refund everything to the account that booked it." He replied, "Well, when will that happen? We're supposed to leave Friday." I just said, "It's already processed, sir." He called Adam later that night, furious, claiming I'd ruined their trip. Adam was confused and tried to mediate, but I stayed calm. I told him the truth, that I was tired of being humiliated, that I couldn't stand watching his father treat me like I was beneath them while still enjoying the things I gave. Adam didn't know what to say. He was caught between defending me and keeping peace in his family. That's when I told him, I don't want to be in a family that sees me as trash. A few days later, Robert tried calling me again, this time pretending to be polite. He said, "Layla, I think we got off on the wrong foot." Helen was really looking forward to this trip. I could hear the strain in his voice. The man who'd once looked down on me was now trying to charm me. I said, "I understand, Mr. Bennett, but maybe next time you should treat people better. You never know who's holding the keys to your happiness." Then I hung up. So that's the situation I was in. I had to choose between swallowing my pride or standing up for myself, even if it meant upsetting the entire family. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below. If you were in my shoes, would you have done the same? Would you have let it go and kept peace, or would you have done exactly what I did? After the cancellation, the Bennetts didn't speak to me for weeks. Adam tried to reach out, but I needed space. I wasn't angry at him, but I needed him to see that love isn't just about being nice, it's about having boundaries. A month later, Helen reached out again, asking if we could meet for coffee. I agreed, though I was nervous. When I arrived, she hugged me, genuinely. She said, "I just wanted to say I understand. Robert was cruel that night, and I should have spoken up. You didn't deserve that." She then told me that after the trip fiasco, Robert had to tell all his friends they had postponed due to business, and it embarrassed him deeply. Apparently, for a man like him, losing face was the worst punishment. I told her I didn't want revenge, I just wanted respect. She nodded and said softly, "You got it, dear. More than you realize." A week later, Robert himself reached out again. This time, it wasn't angry, it was almost humble. He said, "Layla, I owe you an apology. I was out of line at dinner. I let my pride and assumptions get in the way. I didn't know how to respond at first." Hearing him say those words felt surreal. He even added, "You remind me of my mother. She came from nothing and built everything with her bare hands." I guess I forgot that strength doesn't come from money. After that, things changed. When we visited for family dinners, he treated me with genuine respect. He'd ask about my work, my plans, and he even started calling me family. Adam later told me that his father had quietly rebooked their trip, this time, on his own, but before they left, he told Adam, "Your girlfriend is a tough one. Don't lose her." I didn't cancel that trip out of spite, I did it to draw a line. To show that words have weight, and respect isn't optional. It's earned, and honestly, I don't regret it for a second. Sometimes, people need to be reminded that kindness isn't weakness, and silence isn't consent. So, what do you think? Was I wrong for canceling his anniversary trip after what he said to me? Or did he get exactly what he deserved? Like this video if you were on my side, subscribe for more real-life stories like this, and tell me in the comments what you would have done. I'll see you all in the next story.